What is cracking, Hope Nation? It is your friendly neighborhood, Kevin Hines, and I could not be more thrilled today to be with two of my dearest friends, Barb and Chance Pitcock, a mother and son team of epic proportions. Welcome back, friends, to the HINESIGHTS Podcast. This is a space for conversations, lived experience, brain health, mental health, and suicide prevention, hope, healing, and recovery, and what it means to find the art of wellness and to keep going no matter the pain you might be in. As we dive into today's powerful conversation, I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the sponsor of this episode, Barb and Chance Pitcock, who are here with us of Frequence. This episode of HINESIGHTS is proudly sponsored by Frequence. Let's talk about it. Frequence is not just a company, it's a mission. No, it's a movement, and it's a bold reimagining of how we understand the brain, the nervous system, and of course, human potential. At its core, Frequency is about optimization, balance, human performance, recovery, and helping people live with greater clarity, much more resilience, and better alignment. They use cutting-edge frequency-based technology designed to support brain health, nervous system regulation, emotional balance, focus, and overall well-being. This is not about masking symptoms. It's about turning the system, changing and shifting the tide. This is about coherence between brain, body, and mind and soul. You can learn more about their work and their technology right here at frequence.com. That's FREQUNSE.com. Don't forget that S of Frequence. Today's guests are the incredible Barb and Chance Pitcock, the visionary founders behind Frequence. These are builders who care deeply about impact, evidence-based innovation, and empowering people to take ownership of their mental performance, emotional health, and physical vitality. If you happen to be someone who cares about mental health, brain health, peak performance, stress reduction, or recovery, or all of the above, and unlocking your full potential, this conversation, I promise, is for you. Frequence sits at the intersection of science, technology, and humanity. And that is exactly why this partnership feels so aligned with the hearts of HINESIGHTS. Again, if you want to explore what they're building and how this technology could support you in your mental health journey, visit frequence.com. That's with an S. And always, we encourage curiosity, education, and informed choice. One more time, that's frequence.com. Now let's dive into this meaningful, fascinating, and hopeful conversation with Barb and Chance Pitcock of Frequence.
Thank you.
So glad to have you both.
I'm here with you, Kevin. How long have we talked about doing this? We've been wanting to do this forever.
We've been wanting to do this forever, and my horrible schedule keeps getting in the way, and I sincerely apologize for that. But we're here together now, and that is what's important. Friends, this space right here on the HINESIGHTS Podcast is where vulnerability meets innovation, where lived experience connects with the real-world tools for healing, and where purpose is always rooted in compassion. Today's episode is one I'm very excited about. It's a deeply meaningful one because it brings together heart, science, and intention. I'm really honored to bring these two in front of you. Frequence creates intentional wellness products designed to support mental clarity, emotional balance, energy, rest, and of course, we talked about this before, recovery. Their formulations combine functional nutrition, ingredients such as organic mushrooms, trace minerals, and collagen with the concept of frequency-based intention to support the body and mind together. These are not quick fixes. These are daily practices. Tools meant to support the nervous system, nourish the body, and help people feel more like themselves again after trauma, trouble, issues, or struggle. This episode is proudly sponsored by Frequence, and I want to once again, before we begin their questions, thank Barb and Chance from the bottom of my heart, not just for sponsoring this conversation, but for building something that honors humanity, curiosity, and care. What you are about to hear from them is thoughtful. It's honest, it's grounded, and it innovates and invites us to consider how we care for ourselves and one another. So let's get right into it, Barb and Chance. The first question I have for you, which I did not include in the questions I sent to you on purpose, it's quite possibly the most important question of every podcast I do, and I want this one for you both to answer, okay? How is your mental health today? Really?
Amazing. I will tell you, we talk about this every single day and it takes effort. And, Kevin, I've called you many times as a mother in complete meltdown mode and fear for my children. Losing Dave's brother to suicide. My dad lost his only brother to suicide. Never in a million years did I think I would be the mom worrying or trying to prevent. But the way that Chance found you and the way that we were introduced, I've learned so much from you. And for me, it's an everyday practice because every day that I wake up, the devil is going to try to tear me down. And my mental could be complete disastrous today with everything that I'm dealing with. But because of the way that I take care of my mental health, because of what I've learned from you, because of what I've experienced that I know that I don't want to feel, I have had a complete transformation. And I will never wake up and not put my mental health first. More important than the food that I eat or the water that I drink is my mind, and it's controlling everything. And I will tell you, I've never had more that I needed to enlarge my capacity for growth. I've never had more opposition. I've never had more challenge in family and all the things, but I've never been more on point. And we're going to share that, today. I think the whole world is feeling stress, division, hate, anger, resentment, fear, inadequate, comparison. And I really think personally, we all have to make a decision. Does that feel good? Or does that not feel good? And how do we stay feeling good now? And I can tell you, yesterday and this morning, I could have woke up and rolled with the punches and been, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. It's not fair, but I just wake up every single day knowing that I have favor and that I'm a child of the Most High God and that this is happening for me, not against me. And it's why Chance and I have such a passion and a purpose and why we want to work with you, because we want other people to feel that. And I think Chance has a completely different story and answer, but you've been such a rock for him. Kevin, you've been such an incredible friend. I could share so many stories when you called just to check in. And that's why I'm on this podcast with you. I trust you. I believe in what you're doing. And I think we're going to change a lot of lives. But answer to your question, mine is 10 out of 10.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Yeah, Chance, bring it down, please.
Yeah. So honestly, for me today, this past year, like she said too, my mental health daily, it definitely takes work. A lot of days, not really trying to get out of bed, sleeping. I told her yesterday, sometimes sleeping is the best part of my day, just because I'm away from a lot of the mental things that I battle with. But as far as working at it daily, usually once I'm in the gym, which I've worked out a lot of my life, and we were talking about this before the pod too. When I get in the gym, the sauna, the cold plunge, usually that switches something in my brain. And once I do that, I'm honestly a lot better for the day. But not gonna lie, it's been a battle. Life's been a battle. I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of wins in the last year, but just mentally, a lot of the things I'm going through, I'm battling out here.
Yeah. Well, brother, on that note, and this is for both of you, as always, I'm just a phone call away anytime. I know I sometimes get busy and forgetful, but I'm here for you, and I love you guys. And any shoulder you need to lean on, I got two of them right here. Okay, but yeah, so thank you for sharing how you're really feeling, both of you, and being very real and honest about it and raw. I really appreciate that, and our audience appreciates that. Barb and Chance, let's get into what you're doing with Frequence, because it's so unique, it's so different, and it's so intentional and powerful. Obviously, we know it's spelled with an S, which is the important part, so everyone can find it properly. But frequency is at the heart of your company. In your own words, what does this frequency mean? When it comes to the human body and overall well-being?
So I think one of the biggest things when it comes to frequency, the human body and well-being, the biggest thing is harmony, and your body being in harmony. Frequency is everywhere. We can't see it, but we can feel it. And I feel like humans overall really are starting to learn more and more about that as time goes on. But I actually heard this from one of our doctors the past week when I was at an event. And your body is either going to be in chaos or cohesiveness. And we have trillions of cells in our body. And these, your cells, they speak together energetically, and they're going to either be in chaos or cohesiveness. And if they're in chaos, a lot of the nutrition you try to take, the different things you try to listen to, good people you get around, whatever you're trying to do to better yourself. If they're in chaos, your body won't even absorb good minerals or different things you're trying to take. So I don't know. I think that's big. Today we're hit with frequencies from our phones, from humans we come in contact with. Every trauma we face, every emotion we deal with does actually hold a frequency. And with Frequence, we tune our health and wellness products with 11 harmonic frequencies. So as you're taking them daily, it kind of just balances you out. And we're pushing to get people back in harmony.
Harmony and alignment, truly balanced is what you're looking for. When you think about it, the whole frequency aspect of it, you go to the thing that a lot of people talk about now, which is frequency music, and how you can tune music to balance your mental health better and use it as music therapy. Parallel to that, if you are listening to rageful, aggressive, angry, violent type of music, how do you think you're going to feel? It changes your brain patterns, your brain waves, music does. And so if you think about that you're balancing your products with frequency, you're absolutely allowing people to come into that balance and come into that realm of healing, which is incredible. What personal experiences in your own lives led you to create Frequence and to believe that wellness needed a more intentional and really holistic approach?
That's a great question. 20 years ago, Dave was understanding frequency with essential oils. And, our journey with frequency started. I got a million books behind me, the Rife theory, where there was a Rife machine and they would look up different things that were wrong in the human body and treat them with a frequency. Obviously, with our essential oil background, we did a lot of it with sound harmony, but this is completely different than what you're seeing with a sound bath or people that are, listening to megahertz or grounding. So this whole journey, energy is everything and everything is energy. And we knew in our hearts that frequency was real. There were times where Dave was like, I'm going to order this machine. I'm going to order that machine. We knew about a pimp mat or blue light or whatever it was. But really, it was such a God thing how this came together, because 30 years in the industry this month of nutrition and direct sales. 5 years ago, we knew as a family we wanted to build something really incredible. And we were praying about it, like, what should we do? And our background with so many years of bottling and manufacturing was mostly essential oils when CBD became passed and the Farm Bill was a thing. Of course, I was terrified of it. Like, no, because I thought it was marijuana. And then, the hemp and the essential oils working together helped so many people with pain. We had frequency in sound with that company, but never before had I actually understood metal holding a vibration on your body, or taking minerals and imprinting, literally imprinting the liquid, like you were just talking about with music. I never knew that you could take a frequency that would boost your heart, your brain, your respiratory, your liver, your blood cells. I never knew that you could find a machine that would tune the frequency of your heart, imprint that on something, and you could drink it. That just seemed so far-fetched to me. So the way that it all happened was, part of the story. One day we had a loved one that was really struggling, and we were in a jewelry store with tuned frequency jewelry. And they put the jewelry on the back of her neck. She felt different immediately. And I was kind of like, we need to get out of here. Cause I'm a believer and I thought it was woo-woo witchy or something. They were doing all the muscle testing. And it was at a time where I literally didn't know if one of my children was going to survive. And when we got in the car, she said, I don't know what's happening in my body, but I need to lay down. And it was a massive detox. And she felt so different that day. I literally called our formulator and said, I don't know how we tune frequencies in our products that we're formulating, but we need to do this. We need to be the first ever frequency tuned nutrition. And that day, Dave called the kids, and we must have sounded like babbling idiots. We were like, it'd be frequency, get tuned, get charged. What is it going to be? And Dave saved the website. Frequence.com. And he looked at me and he said, that feeling in your heart when this is it, that's your sixth sense. That's God within you telling you. You can't resist that intuition. Right now what you need to do. Stop resisting it. And so we spelled it ENSE, because your sixth sense will tell you everything if you trust your gut. If your brain and your gut are not good and healthy and they're not in alignment, that's where all the chaos is coming from.
Yeah.
So Frequence was literally born based on an experience with a sample of jewelry. But that jewelry was so expensive, Kevin. That day we spent $4,000 or $5,000 trying to get our daughter well. We were like, nobody's spending that. Like, we need to create something that's affordable.
Yeah.
And that's when we spent 18 months creating the little metal medallion disc that's our own category. It's on every product, and it literally imprints the product with those 11 harmonic frequencies that boost the major organs in your body.
It's incredible. Something that most people don't really know about, are unaware of it, and should learn about it.
She's got 30 plus years in the health and wellness area too. In the 90s, my mom and dad got around some nutritional companies, and I grew up around it as well, but we've always been around nutrition. So I think that's definitely one thing that made it make sense as far as us doing this. But in the early 2000s too, my dad started bottling essential oils, and actually started a company called Vibrational Essential Oils. You were talking about sound healing. And you've seen the videos where if you play a certain song around water, you'll change the molecules. You've seen that, right?
Yes, of course.
So one thing we had been doing for years is harmonizing essential oils. My dad has a company called Vibrational Essential Oils, where he stores his oils in rooms where there are high sound frequencies like that. So the essential oils that are already very healing for the body are even that much better. But that's one thing that also just kind of made this all come full circle and make sense.
It's been an incredible journey for all of you, and certainly for you, Barb, for the last 30 years. And Frequence products combine functional nutrition with energetic intention. How would you explain that relationship between science, nourishment, and frequency to someone maybe encountering this for the very first time?
I wish we had our doctor with us because she's so smart, Dr. Kalina. I actually texted her this morning and I said, I'm on a podcast today. And I said, this is the question. I mean, she's brilliant, bioenergetic doctor. And this is what she said. At the most fundamental level, the body is electrochemical. Without energy, we have death. So think about it. When you die, they shock you with frequency to try and make your heart come back, because your heart is energy. So every heartbeat, every nerve impulse, every muscle contraction begins with electrical signal. I'm reading this straight from Dr. Kalina Raboin. Even before chemistry happens, there's a voltage. Cells maintain membrane potentials, and mitochondria create ATP through electron transfer. Biology is chemistry, but it's governed by physics. So when we talk about functional nutrition, we're talking about giving the body the raw materials it needs. The amino acids become neurotransmitters, fatty acids build cell membranes, minerals like magnesium, potassium regulate electrical gradients, but B vitamins drive mitochondrial ATP, and that's the biochemical side. The body is also an oscillating system. The brain operates measurable wave patterns. The heart produces measurable electromagnetic. Cellular communication is influenced by electrical signaling and redox balance. So frequency, scientifically speaking, is simply oscillation over time. The idea behind combining the two, frequency and nutrition, is not replacing chemistry. It's supporting signaling. And if nutrition provides the building blocks, energetic inputs can help influence the coordination of those systems. So we already use electrobiological therapies in medicine, like red light therapy, mitochondrial function. Pulsed electromagnetic fields are used for bone healing, vagus nerve stimulation, inflammation. Those are just examples of physics interacting with biology. But the relationship between science and nourishment and frequency is layered. Chemistry builds the structure. Electricity directs the activity, and when the both are supported, the body will have a better opportunity to regulate and adapt to the way it was designed to.
Wow. I feel overwhelmed with education from that, but in a good way. And for anybody listening and watching who is considering Frequence, at the very least, go to the website, learn more, educate yourself, read about it, do a deep dive, talk to your doctor, see if it makes sense for you. You guys, many people today in society feel very burnt out. They feel overstimulated. They are disconnected from their bodies. How on a base level, on a simple level, do your products help support that clarity for them, a common perspective, and balance in everyday life?
So I think I mean, just on a base level, like our best selling product and like our number one product we lead with right here is the Rise. And it's a nootropic, which those have kind of become popular, I guess, over the past 4 or 5 years or something. But what that is it's 7 organic mushrooms, not mushrooms that make you feel any kind of psychological effects, just mushrooms like turkey tail, chaga, things like that really help with brain fog, just help with mental clarity, brain fog. You know, if you wake up tired, if by noon you're already feeling, bogged down, I feel like the Rise is it's definitely our bread and butter and a product that a lot of people are loving, just as far as for focus and clarity and brain fog and things like that. But as far as calm, we have a product called Sync. Grab that, which this one has collagen in it, which it's called Sync. You're supposed to take this before bed, but as you sleep, your body's doing a ton of healing. So Sync is short for synchronize. So as you're sleeping, your body's synchronizing. It's got collagen in it, which while you're sleeping, a lot of the organs in your body are pulling for collagen to rebuild themselves. So that's one reason we put collagen in it. But for calm, it has magnesium, GABA, and CBD in it that are all just like natural calming ingredients.
I think for me, that product with the Rise, like I never slept, Kevin. And you know my story. Any mom that's ever had a kid on a journey that they can't fix, they can't control, whether it's depression, suicidal thoughts, addiction, and we can get into the story later, but I never slept and I was always sick. And I was selling nutrition, right? I was 40 pounds overweight. My hair was falling out. I had shingles all over my body. I had this constant reoccurring respiratory problem because I never could be calm enough to really get that deep sleep. And I think more than anything, just being able to shut my brain off and relax and not be in constant fight or flight, control, cure, fix. What did I cause? How am I going to change it? I could drink the Rise in the morning and not cry. I could take the Sync at night and actually sleep to where I could think clearly just to cope with what I was going through. And I think we live in a world where everybody's looking for a way to cope with all the pressure. So they turn to substances, any kind of medication. They abuse medications. They shop, they gamble, they bully. They do whatever they can do because they don't know how to feel through what they're feeling. They're just trying to like numb it. And I feel like at Frequence, everybody's welcome. Everybody's valued. Everybody has a past that they're trying to like get past. And here we just allow everyone to be real. Chance has been through so much, which I'm just grateful that he's alive. He's healthy. He's happy and he has hope. And for most people, they don't have a lot of hope. And I feel like our family and what we've been through, this is so much bigger than a product. It's so much bigger than, like Chance said, the bread and butter product and the commission that everyone in our company makes. It really is about a mission and a movement, which is why we're on here with you, why we're giving a portion of our proceeds to help people with mental health, suicide prevention, drug and alcohol recovery. These products change the way you feel. Like you feel them the first day you take them. And our whole motto is feel good now. I mean, everywhere, and that you are not alone. And I feel like that's so in alignment with what you are and your audience that's why I was just so excited to collab with you.
Well, we are so excited to have you and both of you and all the work your whole family does. But I want to pause there for a moment. You guys have been through, I would say, arguably a great deal more than sometimes one family goes through in a lifetime. And this is not just for commission. This is your life's work. You are on a mission to change lives, to heal, to save lives. But can you talk about or share a moment or a story from someone, could be a family member, could be somebody else, who uses or use Frequence, that this story reminded you why this work truly matters, why this is so important to you?
Yeah, we have a police officer who was on the front lines for many years, and his wife was actually a drug and alcohol recovery doctor. Like, she is a counselor that went into prisons with men. So he was on the front lines, so much PTSD. They lived on the East Coast in the city. And just to try and get that out of your mind, the PTSD, the trauma, everything that, people like that feel. And then here she was trying to help people who had abused their brain and their body to be able to feel good and get into recovery. So we have a whole group called Freak 44 Freak Fit, where it's like a support group where we see so many testimonies. People wake up and do the right thing each day, get in the sunlight, move their body, take their product. This is not just like you take a product and your life changes, right? Even if Chance were to share his testimony, it's a daily method that, you got to be consistent. But, I know you met him on a cruise this week and he shared a little bit of his story. What did you take from like what the products have done for him?
One of the guys in our company had just gone through so much PTSD and was just sharing about how, his lifestyle was before these products and his relationship with his wife and just his day-to-day getting out of bed. And he was just sharing that, when he wakes up and does take these products, just how much it's changed everything for him. So that's like what came to mind for me. But I really feel like not only the products, like we just came off of we just went on a cruise with a lot of the people in Frequence that earned certain ranks, but then we had an event in Florida and there were like 350 people there. And I feel like more than just the products, when you have a community that you can get around like that are like-minded, that are real, that are raw, it's really a family is what we call it, Frequence family. But when you do have a community like that, whether you're engaging with them on social on the daily or you're looking forward to the next event where you all get together, I mean, it means more than you think. A lot of people don't have that sense of community. A lot of people are, maybe they don't have the best family. Maybe they don't have even me with an amazing family. It's amazing to have this Frequence family that are all just like-minded and we're fighting this battle together.
On a testimony, I'm trying to not give you any health claims because our products do not treat or cure anything, but I'll give you an example. You look at Whitney Houston or Justin Bieber or the people you think are the happiest people I know. I don't think we all realize that people who are not okay, they don't have dopamine in their brain. So naturally, they are deficient on dopamine. And my oldest daughter overdosed accidentally on fentanyl while we were creating this product line and really made a step back for about 18 months because I didn't care about starting a company. I was just trying to save my child. But there was no dopamine in her brain when she gets up. There's no endorphin that's like there, right? There's no happy. There's so much shame. There's so much guilt. There's so much anger, resentment. Like, how did I get to this point? Like, I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be an addict. But now that I've made this decision and I've had this disease, like, how do I ever be okay? Right?
Yeah.
So you wake up like, I'm not okay. When you hear a child call you like, I'm not okay, you want to give them all the support in the world, but nothing you do other than pray for a miracle is going to change that unless you can change the frequency of their body, what is in their brain, how their gut is connecting with their brain, because our gut is the second brain. And honestly, Kevin, we burned the ships and sold a med spa. Dave had just buried his mom. We sold her house. We sold 2 Airbnbs at the lake. We put every ounce of our being into formulating this because we had a child and she was not okay. So I'm not going to make a product claim or a health claim that it saved somebody's life. But when you take it and you know what those mushrooms do, vitamin B deficiency is the main reason people feel a depressed state.
Yeah.
It is packed with methylated B combined with 7 organic mushrooms that help your brain to have that feeling that you have when you have dopamine because you ran, or dopamine because you're a D1 football player, or, Chance played D1 football. Brooklyn danced in college. Callie was a flyer at K-State, same place he played football. Like, when those people have been at a height where they've been so good, it is hard to get that dopamine rush to your brain just when you wake up on a daily basis. So a lot of high performers, a lot of people that are the most famous, a lot of the people with the most money, the most success in the world feel the lowest vibration because of trauma, things that they've been through, a career, a divorce, a failure, a poor decision, addiction. It's not like they want to feel that way. They don't understand why they're feeling that.
Yeah.
And vibration is everything in your body. Our bodies are like a cell phone battery. Our bodies are minerals and water. So when we're depleted of the minerals, which is why we have the source minerals that you just mix in water, less than $50, mix them in the water, tuned with frequency, can totally change your life. Gets the toxins out, gets the minerals in. I will tell you, from the first day I took the products, I didn't cry that day. I was in menopause, always having brain fog, memory, like what happened to me. I was on point. I could actually focus. Chance and the kids, in college, Chance would always be like, a lot of the kids would take Adderall. I mean, all the football players were taking Adderall. People I never have, but when you drink Rise, I have had people say to me, like, is there Adderall in this? And no, there's not. Adderall can be very addictive, right? It's foods. Mushrooms are foods. It's just whole foods, organic mushrooms that when you eat them, your brain has what it needs to actually feel good now. So many people in recovery, so many people have battled with thoughts of suicide. So many people who are midlife, perimenopause or menopause. So many people. I can't even tell you how many people that had been battling Lyme's disease or mold illness, and they literally had thoughts of suicide, just like you talk about all the time.
Yeah.
They were able to heavily detox just by a mild daily source, and to then give their body the minerals and the food that it needs that we weren't getting just from eating. And they feel better than they've ever felt. We can never say it treats or cures anything. I'm just going to say they feel good. And when you hear their stories, parents with children that were struggling with different things that I won't name, we have a decaf version too. I mean, every kid I know and every college kid I know talks about anxiety. And that was not a thing when I was growing up. We're just bombarded with social media, now whatever's next. I feel like there's a very traumatic low vibration on the world, and people don't even understand why they feel so bad. But here we help people to address that and to get to the cellular level of it so they can feel good.
Yeah, and you really answered my next question about the constant noise and distraction surrounding us with our cell phones and with our other mobile devices, and just the overwhelming nature of humanity, there was a book years ago that came out. It was called something to the effect of A Manic Society, and how we've all kind of gone into overdrive, going 100 miles an hour in every direction, being pulled in different places, the answer is doing too much for one person. And there's that school of people that believes, I'll just sleep when I die. And so they're constantly going, and they don't get adequate sleep. They don't get adequate rest. They don't get adequate exercise. They're not eating things that are healthy to the gut, that are healthy to the brain. They're just, like you said earlier, Chance, they're in chaos. Their body's in chaos. And while we can't say that Frequence is a cure, we can't say that it's a treatment, you have all of the proof in the pudding to show the actual physical people, the real people who have benefited from Frequence in a massive way, who continue to benefit. And let's face it, their lives have forever been changed. And that's undeniable. So I think it's very important to make that note, that you can't say it's a cure, you can't say it's a treatment, but you can say it's very effective. As a conversation around mental health, and as the conversations around mental health and holistic wellness, kind of continue to grow, how do you envision Frequence evolving in the years ahead? What do you see next?
Gosh, the sky's the limit. We brainstorm as a family every single day. Last night, Chance was sending me ideas and screenshots at midnight, how we can create a product line of just a frequency-tuned life. I mean, we have EMF armor that goes on your phone, and it literally is just a little sticker. Put that on my grandkids' iPad, every router in the house, every computer, every cell phone. I mean, you wouldn't stick your head in a microwave. Kids are glued to their devices. And I mean, I feel like we're just a category created, a brand new category, the first ever of its kind, to really help you address that and protect your body from all the low vibration and get back in alignment. But Chance is our creative director, all the beautiful branding, all the product formulation. He works with our formulators. The sky is the limit. Like, we just came out with our first ever beta test frequency tuned merch where you can literally wear the clothes.
Whoa.
Yeah, just a few people are testing it. We have red light therapy masks. Well, I think frequency is the future of medicine.
And I really feel like 10 years ago or so, too, maybe people weren't. I mean, I know there were things going on around frequency. It's been around. But I feel like where we're at in society today, too, people are opening up to it and starting to understand it and starting to lean into things like red light therapy. You know, people are really open to natural ways of healing. So I think as far as the future, it's going to play a big impact.
Yeah, and I think, we have a skincare line, the Reverse. This is one of the most high-tech products that we've ever came out with. It has a patented ingredient, AC11. And if you Google that, it's mixed with the NAD product, diazeplavin. But the two of them combined, it's the only frequency-tuned NAD-like product. And AC11 has clinical studies that repair DNA and extend the telomere, which is the life of the cell. So the before and afters, my daughter Brooklyn, who has done a lot of harmful substance to her body, she loves Rise, but this is her like everyday go-to because of the repair side. Like, how do you reverse? How do you repair something that you've already done? I'm going to be 55 next month. And I'm a grandma, right? And I'm running around the airport yesterday, changing diapers in the women's restroom. And I'm like, Grandma, change your diaper. And the women in there are like, wait, you're the grandma? People will walk up to me and I do not feel 55. I'm refusing to be like, oh, I'm getting old. I feel like we're repairing, we're reversing, we're rising, we're vibing. And we call it a feel good now revolution because everybody's before and afters look that way, Kevin. Like, it's insane. And we have a little testimonial group where you can just be a fly on the wall and there's no Photoshop. Like, there's real and raw before and after pictures, even in 30 days. What happens when you address the cellular health and you raise your vibration and all those emotions. This is one thing that Kalina taught on all weekend. All of those emotions that we have carry a frequency that goes straight to an organ. So if you've ever had something really stressful happen in your life or abusive or a text and then you all of a sudden, like, you have back pain or like your shoulders are burning or you got this migraine, it's because the emotion carries a frequency that lowers your vibration. Death is the lowest vibration, but do you know what's right above death is shame and regret. And I feel like the whole world is walking around with that. All of the jewelry that we have, it carries 200 frequencies, not just the 11. And even the EMF is in that. So people are layering a lot of the stainless steel and gold jewelry that we sell that has been put in the machine, dialed to the frequencies of your body and everything like grounding and boosting your body to be able to fight. The future is there's no ceiling on this.
It's
like,
limitless.
It's limitless. And who knows, but being the first of its kind in a category that we created, I'm just humbled, Kevin. I will take no credit for this. Chance literally met the guy at a flea market 15 years ago that owned the store that we were standing in. And he had taken his sister there on a little weekend getaway when she had first gotten in trouble with drugs. And just the way the whole dot to dot works, it's amazing to me how Chance and Brooklyn and then later Callie, who's the COO of our company, our family has lived through so much trauma. It's like, I heard a song this week, it was called The Funeral. It was like, we buried the trauma and we didn't even send roses because we're not going back. Like, you feel through it and you address what happened, but you rise above it with so much purpose because of the pain. And then it's like a movement. Like, everybody's jumping in and they don't have to feel shame. They don't have to feel regret because there's no labels here. Everyone is equally loved and celebrated and just so relatable because of what we've been through.
Wow. Truly incredible, Barb and Chance. I'm going to wrap this up with my final question here for somebody out there right now, listening, watching, who feels overwhelmed, maybe disconnected, very unsure where to begin their healing journey. What message do you want them to hear directly from both of your hearts right now?
I think it's what the shirt says. I mean, you are not alone. We've all been there, and I've struggled with loss of a business, bankruptcy, burying, our mother-in-law and so much grief, and then having Brooklyn overdose on fentanyl 3 months later, so much trauma in Chance's life. Let's normalize that it's not what's wrong with you, it's what happened to you. And how did that make you feel? And then how could we help you rise and increase the hope that you have to be a part of a movement where it's not just products. There is a business model. A lot of people have been able to share this product and replace incomes. And, that's a whole nother reason why people are depressed and suicidal, is because it's hard to survive today in this day and age. But when you can attach a product that's changing lives to a business model, and you can literally get paid what you're worth for the first time in your life, telling your authentic story and being real, it's something to celebrate. And I'm just humbled. I'm grateful for every time I called you crying, Kevin. I'm grateful for every fear I ever had, every setback, every challenge my kids have been through. This is a family business, and it's a legacy that I know Chance is more passionate about than probably even me, because he's been there. And how he met you even, Kevin, I don't know. Chance started a whole movement during college when he left football.
Yeah. So I grew up being an athlete my whole life. From the time I was 5 years old, I was wrestling, winning state championships in wrestling, being hyped up for that. Like, my whole identity was around sports. And I left college sports after a year. I went to college, started playing sports, kind of got around the wrong things and off track, and went from being like one of the only people that went Division I in my town at the time on ESPN. I mean, people messaging you, you feel like somebody when you're doing things like that. And months later, I walked away from it. I'm sitting in my parents' basement, and I'm 19, and it's like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And that's like my first time in life I really dealt with depression and anxiety and bad thoughts. And I somehow found myself again through clothing. Actually started making clothes and started a brand. Actually, when I started dealing with those feelings for the first time, it led me to start a brand in memory of my dad's little brother that took his life when I was like 6 years old. And that's how I met Kevin. I started throwing events for that brand, and I wanted to bring in influential people in the space, and the most influential people in the space. And I DM'd Kevin or emailed them somehow, and not only did he come get back to me, but they came in and killed it at one of my events, and were very generous there. But not to get off track from the question, just to tell my story a bit, but for someone listening right now who feels those things, my biggest saying through this, I know me and Kevin have collabed on things like this at times. His is always like, you are not alone. And mine, my biggest saying on this is keep going. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs in life. The downhills make the uphills. That's something I heard, like Jaden Smith actually said that on one of his songs.
Yeah.
But I don't know, keep going. You might end up getting everything you wish for.
I love that. And keep going. Be here tomorrow. Never quit. Never give in. We love you. You're meant to be here. Stay. Barb and Chance, thank you. Thank you for your honesty, your curiosity, and your beautiful compassion. Thank you for creating something that supports people, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically as well, which is most important. And thank you again for sponsoring this wonderful episode of the HINESIGHTS Podcast, and for believing in conversations that create connection and true healing. To everyone listening, viewing, watching, subscribing to this episode of HINESIGHTS, if this episode resonated with you, if it sparked reflection, or if you are ready to explore wellness with greater intention, I encourage you to learn more about Barb and Chance and what they've built, because how we care for ourselves truly matters. How we support one another makes a difference. And raising awareness begins with raising our own sense of balance and presence in this life. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the HINESIGHTS Podcast. Keep choosing hope, keep choosing care, keep showing up, keep going. Visit Frequence at frequence.com. Take care, be well, and be here tomorrow.
Much.